Hey! All right. Still in Edmonton. We have some sunshine here. They came and plowed the roads this morning, which was much needed. Did a spectacular job. And now the melt's on, so it was probably wasted money anyway, but it's a strata, so. Still here at the in-laws' place. Um, we figure we've got some appointments in the city that we need to do, doctor's appointments, dental appointments. I got my pain shot in my back. I get a cortisone needle in the back in between my L4 and my L5. Hopefully my surgery doesn't interfere with that shot. I get the stitches out on the 4th. My daughter snipped the bottom stitch, but I need to take these out. I should see if I can round up some baby scissors around this joint. And Tom is at the dentist right now. You come in town and all we do is frickin' run. Seriously. I'm not going to look for this. I'll just ask Aunt Grandma when she gets here. But I am going to go to a couple of dance competitions for my granddaughters. And so Tom probably will leave before me. And I'll just drive home on my own. So this is me trying to do my shag and curtain bang thingies. I don't know. It looks okay. When you have curly hair, everything looks dry to me when you straighten it. But so what I wanted to talk to you all about is blended families are becoming more and more common. And when you're in your youth, like let's say you get divorced in your 30s and you have school-aged children still, that is a conundrum all in itself. Do you have visitation? Do you have full custody? Do you do 1 week on, 1 week off? Do you blend with the new person in your relationship? Do the kids even want a relationship with their new blended stepsons and daughters and blah, blah, blah? When you're young and the kids are young, that is a totally different scenario than what Tom and I are in, where we met in our late 50s and our kids are all in their 40s and 30s, early 30s, and late 20s. So when we first got married, and I told you I had said no a couple of times, and then he talked me into it because of pension and stuff like that, because certain pension funds, if you aren't legally married, your partner is not entitled to your benefits, or your children if you should pass away. And that is, he's been paying into it for his whole career, and for it to go to the wayside after he passes was bothering him. So he said, especially if we buy a house together and something happens to me, I want you to make sure that you can, look after yourself. So that's why we agreed to do that. But what happens now is when you go into the marriage at that late an age, I've had investments in equity in the house that I owned, and there's no way that I feel that him and his kids should access my equity in my house that I built for the last 30 years, and vice versa. I shouldn't have access to any of that, and neither should my kids if something happens to me. And really, the laws have changed because divorce has been so prevalent, and this type of scenario has caused lots of contested wills. And if there's a legal contest, people can contest the will, no matter what is in your will. So I wanted to make sure that Tom and I, adult kids, didn't have to deal with bullshit and one family decide to sue the other family because they've never met. They don't give a shit about each other at this age. I've been divorced twice. Tom's been divorced twice, but he only has children from one relationship. I have children from 2 relationships, and there's step children involved with Tom's side of the family with his mother. So there's all these blended components, and they were young, so they did get to know their mother's new husband's kids. we were in our late 50s. My kids are like, we don't need any more step brothers and sisters or half brothers and sisters. We're good. And I get that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no reason that they have to be in contact with each other. But when we die, that's a conundrum. So I went into this elopement, and I had my own will, and of course Tom had his own will, and we thought, well, we'll do joint wills. That was a big mistake with adult children. I've seen nothing but problems in a few of the families that I know with adult children contesting a will, contesting, however you want to say it, after that their mother has passed, or their stepfather, who they never even really got to know, passed away, and is trying to get some of that estate out of for their mother or for them. So if it goes to their mother, it'll eventually go to them. And I didn't think that's right. Now, everything that Tom and I buy together, obviously, if we have equity in this house, let's say we both live for another 15, 20 years, and we have equity in this house, and I die first, it goes to Tom no matter what my will says. It's legal. We're joint tenants. So it goes to Tom. But you can do a contract, and the best scenario is separate wills. I don't want Tom being the executor if I pass away. I want my children to, because I have funds and equity and inheritance and RSPs and all that I had long before I met Tom. And his kids aren't going to freaking get that. And that's the way I feel. And it's the same for me with his assets. I have no entitlement to anything that he had built up on in his lifetime before that, except he willed his, it's not willed, he made me beneficiary of his pension. So that doesn't take place unless he dies, right? First, and only if we're still married. So I was really struggling with this because a friend of our family went through this just recently with adult children of a new spouse, and it was horrific, and I don't want my kids to have to deal with that. So I reached out to a lawyer to say, I have done some reading, and an estate lawyer, and we did the wrong thing as adults. We should never have done a joint will. We were ill-advised. I went to Tom's divorce lawyer from his past 2 divorces, and he did our will. That was ridiculous, stupid of me. So I was really struggling with this, and I had mentioned it to Tom a couple times, and he took it all wrong and was misconstrued. And then I said, do some research. The laws have changed, and it's to protect the children of the adult children so they don't have to do this and wait for their mom's half of the money, if ever, because you're basically going on trust that your spouse would give your entitled estate from the house to the children upon his passing. And so you're depending on his kids to do the right thing. And I just think it's bullshit. So there are contracts that you can do. My advice is you do what you want. But my lawyer that I just consulted with yesterday said that you do joint or separate wills. Make one of your adult children the executor and an alternate. So one of my other children's I'll just make if I have to. And same with Tom. He makes his oldest and middle or whoever he wants to be his executor upon his passing and have an alternate. Then you do a contract about the house that you can either, you want the matrimonial home sold immediately so that they get paid out, or if they have the funds, they can buy out their mom or dad's estate. Like, so Tom would buy out and pay out my kids, my portion of the house, so that he doesn't have to deal with them and his kids don't have to deal with them upon their death. And it's the vice versa. But there's 3 different scenarios that you can do to give the person a year or give them whatever, and then down the road you pay them out, however it works. But you can protect your children from having to deal with this shit after you pass. And that's what I'm going to do. And I did talk to Tom about it. He's on board, and I think we're going to get separate lawyers, or maybe my lawyer. It doesn't matter. But that's my advice. Look into it, guys. Peace out.